Joins us now as we have our sister network getting in on the action, and you guys have done an amazing job of covering this story, Stuart. And you are in a unique position, born in the United Kingdom and now an American citizen. What do you make of all this?
Well, the Brits have voted to leave the European Union. We all know that by now, and it was a surprise. People were expecting that the stay campaign would win, even by a narrow margin. They were wrong. The Brits decided that they would leave by a 4 percentage point margin. The result of that is that we've got what looks like the falling apart of the European Union. If the Brits pull out, there's not much left that they can cling on to and stay together. That's why our market is down 380 points as we speak, Martha.
So what's the longer-term ramification? We heard from so many people who were in the Remain camp that these consequences would be dire and long-lasting. Do you believe that?
No, I do not. There was a lot of fear-mongering in an attempt to persuade the Brits to stay in the European Union. I think that was fear-mongering. There were some outrageous suggestions that there will be a war or that we'd go into a cataclysmic decline and recession. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think there are negatives for the immediate future for the British economy and certainly for the European economy. But for America, I don't think there's going to be that much of a downside move economically at this point.
You know, when I listened to the shock and the awe and the surprise this morning, I couldn't help but think that the sentiment that drove this vote has been existent in the United Kingdom for at least 20 years, Stuart,
Yep.
by my estimation. Do you agree with that?
I do. Yes, I do. The British have become increasingly frustrated by being ruled, essentially, in many aspects of their lives, by an alien, foreign bureaucracy. Notably, the bureaucrats in Brussels, Belgium. That's where the European Commission sits. They make a lot of the rules and regulations, and all the member countries in the EU have to conform to this foreign bureaucracy. That does not go down well in a country which has several hundred years' worth of experience of direct democracy through Britain's Parliament. You're right, Martha. This sentiment, this unhappiness, this resentment has been building for a very long time, and it was exacerbated in the very recent past by this migrant crisis which threatens the whole of Europe and which threatens to swamp the British with a lot of people coming into their country. They resented that. They didn't like it. They wanted to control their borders. In fact, Martha, you could say that the sentiment over there, the issues over there are very, very similar to the issues which motivate the American electorate as we go forward towards November.
They absolutely are. And when you look at the two situations, Stuart, and you hear the voices of the people that we have heard speaking out this morning about taking their country back, clearly it echoes so much of the sentiment that we see here. The question is, will we see the same sort of surprise in this country that we have seen in the pockets that have risen up to speak out in the UK?
That's a very good question, Martha. I think that the Leave campaign in the polls before yesterday's vote, I think the Leave campaign was under-polling. That is to say, many people who wanted to get out of the European Union were shamed into saying, well, I'm not sure, maybe we should stay. Because in Britain, if you wanted to get out, you were labelled a bigot. You were labelled as an Islamophobe. You didn't like foreigners. You were a hater. So the exit people, the Leave people, were underpolled. You may well see something somewhat similar in the United States, with people being shamed not to be overt about supporting Donald Trump. There is a parallel here, a very sharp parallel.
It's amazing and quite interesting to see what's happening on both sides of the pond today. Real tremors that are existing between our two societies. Stuart, thank you very much.